Hey everyone, I'm Ottengroff, and I am back from vacation, which means it's time for more content, and we are going to start this week off by getting right into Blush, a creative project spearheaded by Kevin Abstract. So Blush is, through all intents and purposes, the fifth studio album by American rapper, singer, and songwriter Kevin Abstract, who is well known for being the founder of the musical project that is Brockhampton, a great project to be certain. Blush is a well anticipated album and creative venture that has lots of lore behind it, as its recorded process included a cabin where all of the artists and features that went into the birthing of this album sort of cohabitated and worked together for its inception in this massive like free space creative group. And just it was a really cool experience and free form thing that they kind of went through together to breathe life into this project. In terms of genres, the album is clearly grounded in rap, but limiting it to that would be doing it a disservice. I think there are a myriad of influences here. Some of them include indie, lo-fi, alternative, pop, to say the least, but there are others. The production, despite the myriad of influences in this salad bowl of an album, is cohesive and consistent throughout, which is quite amazing because, don't get me wrong, there are a ton of hands in this thing, and that is including in the production front. So to have such a cohesive tone throughout is amazing. Um, to talk about how excellent all the features were on this project would be a waste of time. You know it, I know it. They're awesome. The one thing that shouldn't be understated is I think that this album is everything that the Carter 6 kind of hoped that it would be in terms of the features. I think all of them were really landing the mark and were awesome. Especially, I think nods should be given to AMEER, VANN, QUADECA, and Love Spells, all of whom had multiple roles throughout the project and all really stuck home. Although he really only had a role on one track, I think another nod should go to DOMINIC FIKE. His track was essential, I think, to the album, and the role he played on that track was awesome. And then I think the other piece to say, most importantly, is that Kevin really came across as the protagonist of this album. He carried the tone and the cohesiveness on his role on every song, and his fingers in the production of every track that he was responsible for were potent and present. He was clearly the conductor of this orchestral piece, and it's clear through and through that this was his project, and what he did with this was nothing short of sensational. All right, track highlights. Where to begin? Goodness gracious, you could start anywhere. You could start the introductory track because everything about this album is sensational. I'm gonna go with Nola. This was a high octane track. I love the rush techno house vibe that you have on this thing with the synth production elements. The beat is very itchy. The epic choral chanting adds a lot of tension to all the flows from the rappers as everything continues to roll with this track. I think that the flow change up is really cool when AMEER, VANN hits the end, and everything instrumentally gets really lush around there and heavenly in production. In general, I think on this track, the production is really what stood out to me the most. And when I went to check and see who was responsible for this gorgeous, heavenly, next level production on this piece, boy, was I not shocked when I saw that it was QUADECA. Uh, he is the GOAT, especially when it comes to production. This man cannot be beaten. So, yeah, Nola, banger track, very good. 97 Jag is just another level for me. I like this track a lot. I think the harmony for Love Spells at the intro is such a good hook, just brings you right in. It lets you know this track is going to be a different one. Working Love Spells singing lyrics over the abstract bars, I think, was such a smart, addicting move on this piece. I just love the production on this track overall. The ambient vocal trills in the background was just a next level move in terms of thinking from a production standpoint. I think the guitar chords were also super smooth and strong in this track on whole, just from front to back. From the baseboards of this thing all the way up to the ceiling. I think this track is a whole vibe, really jiving with 97 Jag. It's a good one. All right, with Geezer, this one has this really retro feel, a la like 90s for me. It's a different vibe from the majority of the album, aside from like maybe one other track, which comes right after it. Actually, it's got more of a chill, like kind of alt vibe with a reggae flow. Kind of reminded me of like old school Sublime. I love the acoustic guitar arpeggios on this thing, spliced with the electric guitar chords. The drums also really, I think, carried with that like garage band reggae flow. And then Dominic Fike on this thing, I think, really slays in the feature with that soft acoustic alt feel that he has. He reminds me of that like grungy, sad boy next door feeling. I just love this track so much. I think it's just such a vibe. It really gives me that like nostalgic, like Sublime, old school feel, which I think I really just miss the old Sublime style sound of music that came like just before the boom of like the modern age of like pop. I think that the modern sphere owes a lot to what Sublime was doing in its time, and so this is a nice tribute to that. And then the heavens open up and QUADECA's voice descends upon the album. The production is clearly executed on Abandon Me solely by QUADECA. It's heavy with so many of his classic staple tricks. You've got the noisy palette with the distorting static synth, undercoated by piano arpeggios and choral forays. You've got QUADECA, who's melodically working through his bars. He dances that line between rapping and singing in the staple QUADECA fashion. The beat is slow, but it's still engaging and it hooks you in that different kind of way. And man, I swear this dude is the GOAT. Every second that I'm waiting for Vanisher is going to be worth it. I'm on record right now saying that album is going to be strong. I'm swearing it on all that is good and present right now. The album is going to slay. QUADECA is the GOAT. All right, with Red Light, shockingly, the other track that has a heavy QUADECA feature is also on the list. He's the sole producer for it, by the way. Light flex. Instrumentally, this thing is lush with strings. You got lo-fi production elements, pacing drums, a gorgeous piano accompaniment, blah 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 blah. Production is goated. Every featured artist on this thing belongs here. They're perfectly vocally in sync, which works super well with the lyricism, by the way, which is focused on a super deep bond that transcends mistake making and transcends, excuse me, all of the moments in life that you're stuck waiting, or you're stuck in miscomfort or in disappointment or in all those other, you know, not high moments of life, and wanting to do those things together with other people. I think it's a very meta track on an album that is so creative and visionary. Perfect pick to end this album, honestly. I love it from top to bottom. Red Light, great track, solid closer. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think this is truly an album that was created for artists by artists, and we are lucky enough to be able to get a glance at it, listen to it, and enjoy the fruits of their passion. I think this is the product of unleashed creativity, and it's my hope that it inspires more musicians and artists to make decisions to do things in a similar vein. Don't get me wrong, a project like this can easily be a flop. Not every group of musicians has friends in it like QUADECA and Kevin Abstract and Kevin Manley, who can make sure that the production sides of things go not just smoothly, but phenomenally. But still, it's an exciting step in the midst of what we are in, which is a golden age of pop music. I'm excited to see the possibilities that could be birthed from something like this. I guess I'm supposed to provide a baseless rating to this, and so I guess that would be a masterpiece.